swirling all around you, leaving you disoriented, discouraged, and disillusioned. That's a storm.
Yes, sir.
There are familial storms. When your marriage is shaky, your children are flaky. Somebody in our congregation used to sing it like this: when your house doesn't feel like home. Your family is all around you, but you still feel alone. That's a storm. There are physical storms. When it seems like your own body is betraying you. When the report from the doctor makes you sicker than you were when you went to sleep. That's a storm. There are financial storms. When no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get ahead. Just can't seem to make ends meet. The month is longer than your money. And just when you think it might be settling down, another emergency expense pops up. That's a storm. Amen. There are spiritual storms when the enemy is kicking up a lot of dust. Making a lot of noise, roaring like a lion, trying to distract you from the plan and promises of God, trying to intimidate you into disbelief, attacking your mind, attacking your finances, attacking the ones you love. That's a storm. But I've come to tell you this day, that I believe God, and we will survive. Now, I don't mean any harm. I don't mean any harm at all. I know that somebody told you, child, when you see the storm coming, just rebuke it. I know somebody told you that. Yes, sir. I know somebody told you that you should just speak to that storm and watch it stop. And I have to tell you that I agree there are some storms that you can speak to. There are some times when we, with the authority that God has given to speak, we can speak to the situation and it has to move. There was a song that came out a few years ago. It went something like this: I told the storm to pass. Storm, you can't last. Go away, I command you to move today. And there are some storms that are like that. But in the words of my mother, just keep on living. Amen. Because saints, I don't know what somebody told you, but there are some storms that you can't speak to, you just have to endure. Amen. There are some storms that no matter how loud or long you pray, no matter how many times you anoint yourself and everybody around you, no matter how many special offerings you give, no matter how many times you turn around and touch your neighbor, no matter how many demons you try to rebuke, there are some storms that are not moving until the Lord moves it. And you just have to endure it until it reaches its scheduled end. But I have good news. I believe God. And we will survive. Just like Paul was able to reassure his shipmates, his words reassure us today. You see, the crew of the ship threw out anchors to try to save themselves and the ship, but their anchors failed. But if we look closely at the text, you'll understand that Paul had some anchors too. There were some anchors that held him in place, that made him steadfast and unmovable, some anchors that would not fail even in the midst of the storm he was going through. Can I give you these anchors really quickly and we'll go on home? Number one, he had the presence of God. The Bible said, there stood by me the angel of God, a messenger of God. In the midst of the storm, somebody that they can't see is also on the ship. It's not just the captain and crew of the ship. It's not just Paul and his crew on the ship. It's not just the other prisoners on this ship. There is a presence they cannot see. While they're going through the storm, the one who boxed in the sea in the first place, the one who disperses lightning from its place, the very one who cuts a channel for the torrents of the rain in the path of his thunderstorm, the one who makes the clouds his chariot, the one who rides on the wings of the wind, he is with them in the storm. Paul says that one, the one I belong to, is with me. The one I serve is with me right here on the ship in the storm. Listen, he may not come to stop the storm. Amen. But he spoke to me through his angel to tell me everything is going to be all right. And I want to tell you today as a messenger of God, don't be afraid. Because you are not alone. All right. Even though you may walk Let me see if I can get you to understand. A few months ago, my family and I took a little vacation. We traveled to Florida, and we went by plane. The plane was the vehicle to get us to our destination. Amen. The problem is that one of my children in particular does not like flying on planes. I mean, nail-biting, body-tensing, almost paralyzing fear. But Daddy, who has something planned for her, has made arrangements for her to get to where I want her to be. And so she just has to trust me and ride the vehicle that's going to take her to the place I have planned for her to be. So Lady Chanel and I, knowing that our child is really fearful about flying, we've tried a few different approaches. We've tried keeping her up all night the night before, so hopefully she'll rest on the plane. That doesn't work. We've tried giving her Dramamine to knock her out, but that doesn't work. Her fear keeps her wide awake. We even tried Benadryl, that doesn't work. There is only one thing that brings our daughter any relief while on the plane, and that is the presence of her father. All right. From the moment we get on the plane, she's right up under me, making sure she sits right beside me. We put the armrest up between us so she can scoot closer. And when the turbulence starts, she'll grab my arm just so she can feel me and bury her face in my arm. Just knowing that Daddy is on board may not make the ride pleasurable, but at least it makes it better. All I'm trying to get you to see is that when you have His presence, it may not stop the storm, but at least you know everything is going to be all right. Not only does Paul have the presence of God as an anchor, but number two, he also has the promises of God. It's in verse 24. You see, God had already told him that in chapter 23 at verse 11. God had told him that he had to go to Rome to testify. And the angel here reminds him in verse 24, don't be afraid. You must be brought before Caesar. Through his messenger, God is saying to Paul, in essence, I'm going to get you where you need to be, even though you have to go through something to get there. That's all right. Paul could encourage those around him because he understood that if the Lord promises something, it shall come to pass. Paul was convinced that God would do just what he said. Paul knew that what he had promised, he was able to perform. Let me encourage you today to hold on to God's promises. Hebrews 6:18 tells us that it is impossible for God to lie. And I want to tell you that your storm does not stop God's promises. The Lord promised in Psalm 30 verse 5, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. He promised in Psalm 35:19, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He promised through the Apostle Paul in Romans 8:18 that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that's coming. In verse 28, everything's working together for good. He promised in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, my grace is sufficient, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Yes, Paul had some anchors to keep him grounded while he was going through his storm. He had, number one, the presence of God. Yes, sir. Secondly, he had the promises of God. But then Paul's final anchor is revealed. Here it is, number three. He has the providence of God. Paul understood that our all-knowing God directs the universe and the affairs of humankind after his own will. Paul knew that God does not have a plan B. I know I'm in the Word. Wow. Psalm 33 said the plan of the Lord stands firm forever. And while I may not understand the way that God is taking me to get where he wants me to be, while it may take a while for me to get there, while it may not be a straight shot, I'm learning to trust him. Yeah. Is there anybody in the sanctuary tonight who can say, Lord, I trust you? Yeah. Don't forget that God is in charge. Remember what he said in Isaiah 45, I'm the Lord, there is no other. Apart from me, there is no God. I will strengthen you, though you have not acknowledged me, so that from the rising of the sun to the place of the setting, men may know there is none beside me. I'm the Lord, and is God's plan. But sometimes, so is the storm. God used the storm to get Paul to believe it. The storm coming up was no surprise to God. It was God's breath blowing the wind. It was God's hand guiding the ship.